Greetings and welcome, brave citizens of our new world. I'm Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt. This is our Layer 3.0's comfort zone, the relaxation station, if you will. This is Justin Eacock from Terrible Warriors.
Oh, hey.
And today is International Board Game Day.
What? Oh, that's a coincidence.
What? Oh, no.
Didn't plan that out.
I'm here on International Board Game Day, and it's what I do. No way. And today we are playing Fall of Magic.
Yes.
Now we're not gonna basically take you through the whole thing, but we're gonna give you a gist as
lift
to
up the box that I have water damage from the top of it from the cider I was drinking the night I introduced you to the game.
Was that from the night?
Yeah, I put this into my suitcase, and a can of beer was in the suitcase and it burst open.
Oh no!
And the game is fine, but the box got a little.
So
this will always remind. This is the time I got very drunk.
Yeah.
And ranted about this game.
Con Bravo last year, like end of July, beginning of August, we're sitting hanging out with Bree, Poison, and Warden, and the four of us are just kind of chilling in the room. Oh,
you just did like a 7-hour D20 live marathon game.
I was burnt the hell out because it was a whole day, and I still had energy,
drained,
but I was tired because I love doing lots of content at Con Bravo, and they sort of love and hate me for it. But we're sitting there and we're having drinks. Hess was with us as well, and Justin, 6 beers in or something.
There was a lot of Kraken. What that was. That was a lot of rum.
Yeah, we were a lot of rum in. Is drunkenly trying to sell me on playing this game.
Every time I go to a convention, whether it's Con Bravo or MagFest or I always bring games with me, and we never have time to play them.
Yeah.
But I always bring them in my suitcase. I was like, just in case, I'll bring this one-page game or bring a little bit of this, just in case. And I've always got my recorder, and maybe we'll get an on-location. It's never happened. An on-location podcast recorded. And so Con Bravo, I brought Fall of Magic because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's simple and. It gives you, if you're playing with the right people, you'll end up ugly crying sometimes with these characters you create because it is it's a stunningly deep story for such a simple game.
And this is a game that runs itself. Like it's a role-playing game and it's tabletop, but the game runs itself. Now tell me about what's on the inside of the first page there.
It's very rules light, but it gives you a lot of story prompts. So it's more of an improv, free form. It's a story game, not like what the community would call a traditional role-playing game or a trad game, like Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, Shadowrun. Those are very numbers and statistics. Fall of Magic is none of those things. You're not going to level up and get experience points and worry about loot. You're telling a story. And all this game does is gives you prompts to help guide your story through. But it's not much different from just sitting around a campfire just inventing a story in the moment. And so to
just
prompt
guides you to do that.
The beginning of the book, really the only thing I have to tell the players before we ever start is this line. It's written at the very front of the scroll as well. Magic is dying, and the Magus is dying with it. We travel together to the realm of Umbra, where magic was born. That's it. How is magic dying? Who is the Magus? How are we traveling together? The realm of Umbra? What does any of that mean? This game isn't going to answer that. We're going to answer that. We're going to figure out to fill in those blanks. We get to create the Magus. We get to decide, is this low fantasy magic like the original Lord of the Rings, or is this more like 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons with floating crystals in the sky? We get to decide what a lot of these things are. It's a lot of gray. And I've heard friends who've played this game who have had wildly different outcomes of stories that we've done. And then the whole game is played out on this gorgeous cloth scroll. There is a digital version as well to play on Roll20, and you get the same high-definition scan of the scroll that you can play through on, but it's not a cheap game, but you're getting what you pay for. Yeah. So it has the same phrase on the front, magic is dying, Magus is dying with it, and then before you roll out, as we play through the game, we scroll through the world, and there's this map, and you just follow your tokens around the map. And along, you'll see here, there's a lot of little prompts, like what slows you down. There are a lot of questions. What follows you? How do you fix what is broken? And then when you get to the sea, you go into this deck of cards to find your things. And there's also, as you can see, there's an underworld that you can fall into.
Holy crap.
So before I spoil this, these are all spoiler alerts, we'll roll this back up, because the game just starts at the very beginning, where you're just supposed to pick. Let's put that over there.
Say, let's move that to the floor.
your character. So the game is meant to have the scroll all the way up there tied. You're not supposed to see past that river. Okay. And you just have, choose your name. And it has you can invent whatever name you want. But here's some that they prompt you. Harp, Caspian, Piccolo, River, Vago.
Interesting.
I like Vago. I don't know why. Maybe I've been playing some Apocalypse World. I've created these new characters. They all got like, they all sound like
instruments.
Vago. No, I was thinking like Crowley from Supernatural.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Hello, I'm Vago. I'm here to make sure I give you what you need. And then after that, you pick your title. And the same deal here. The titles are like the Apprentice of Ravenhall, or the Swineherd of Barleytown, the Fox of Mistwood, the Crab Singer of Estalia. When it says a Fox of Mistwood, is that your title, or are you actually a fox?
Yeah.
Right? Or do you act like a fox?
Yeah.
He's such a fox. Crab Singer of Estalia. There's no definitions for Crab Singer.
Yeah.
You get to define in this game what that title means for you.
Do you actually sing crabs out of the sea, or is it just someone that goes and catches crabs?
We played this game before where a player played the Crab Singer as there was a lot of folk mythology around them, like druids, and they would sing at the beginning of each fishing season. They would find the bubbles and sing to make sure the fishing happened. But it was all a con. Yeah. They're all mentalists and con artists, but they had convinced everyone that their magic was real, and so they get roped into this whole story with actual magic. They don't belong here at all, and they know they're a fraud, but everyone around them thinks they're legit because this is a world with magic.
Yeah.
They just convinced this fishing village that they also have magic. That was just in our story. Maybe you are a crab singer like singing to snakes. You actually sing to crabs as a busker. And then they dance. And that's your whole... And you're more of like a jester kind of entertaining character.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
And so you just look at these and you go, that's interesting. And then you pick a token and we start in Ravenhall where we begin our story.
Huh.
And then from there, it's just follow the prompts as we go along. And what's beautiful about this game is it ends when we're done playing. We can get to the very end of the story, at the end of the scroll, or we can say we're out of time. This is where our story ends. And then we can reflect on it. And the next time we play, you don't pick up and you start the game again. You start right at the beginning. You do it all over again.
Yeah. You go right to there, and then you pick a new character.
Pick a new character.
What does that title mean?
Because this game ends up becoming a mirror very much into where you are now and what kind of story you want to tell today. And as you end up working through, do you want to do a fun adventure, or do you want to do something a little more dark and sad and work through some other feelings in a controlled setting? It's kind of neat. And it's beautiful. And because I don't know where it's going to... And it's so simple, because that's it. Then we just pick our tokens, our name, and then we just go. And then there's a few rules in here about turn order and picking up traits that can be used. And there are, I think, 4 times we might roll the dice.
4 times you might roll a dice, and it's a 6-sided dice.
Some of them have options. The danger you fear, and you roll it, and you find out is an ambush, news, or sunbreak. Why would I be afraid of sunbreak?
Yeah.
What does that mean, right?
Yeah, what happens at sunbreak?
And we actually got, when I played this last time, it was Scouting Ahead, News from the East, which is more along the scroll. We don't know what's there. It was the first time I played it, and I wrote back, oh, we get news, my father the king has died. Yeah. I'm now the king, or the king apparent.
Yeah.
And then the next bit happened to then, without even knowing it, was Castle Stormguard.
Was the you go home.
And I was like, oh.
And you're like, oh. And then you have to choose what you're doing from
If I had been any other character, that never would have happened. Right? If I had been playing as the Crab Singer or the Fugitive, and whoever rolled that die, those only happen a handful of times where there's it's called a pick list. Roll the number, if it's 1 to 2, 2 to 4, or 5 or 6. Those are your answers, right?
But it doesn't come up often.
It doesn't come up often. Most of the time, it's just follow the prompts. We each take a turn. I do a story, you do a story. We can both be in it, or we play NPCs, or we describe the scene. I might be the GM in that bit because it's a GM-less game. Game master. There's no game master.
Yeah.
So this is your scene, but I'll describe the bridge that you're on, and then you go through it, and I might play the role of some NPCs or my own character, but this is your scene. And then when we both have our scene, then we both determine what the Oracle does, or the Magus, and we do a scene with the Magus, and that scene moves us to the next place on the map. And then the map begins with a prompt, and then we do it all again where we each take a scene, and then we continue on the map to a bit. And there's some parts along this map where there are forks in the road, and we can go down or we can go up, and they have different
places,
results. And so there's a bit of that choose your own adventure bit as well.
Yeah.
But then the combination of players, characters, and your mood make it a very different game, even though the scroll is always the same. And as you play the game a few times, you start to learn where everything is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. It just plays out.
It just plays out because you won't play the hero of Barleytown again.
Yeah.
You've already told that story.
You've already told that story. So
today I'm going to play the heir of Stormguard.
A fugitive of Stormguard, or something like that. But it's like, you know, and then all plays out the way that it does, which I think is so fascinating. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to play through this, and then we'll come back to you guys with kind of a
play report.
A play report on and if we write down all the clip notes, we can kind of quickly go through the story that unfolded, at least for us.
And this can be played up to 4 players.
Yeah.
But we're doing Ultra with 2, which is
it should move a little faster then. But I think this will be a lot of fun.
I talk a lot. It might take a while.
All right, we'll see you when we get back. Okay, so holy, how many hours has it been?
We started at 5.
We started at 5. So
3.5.
It's been 3.5 hours. We've been going as fast as we can with just 2 of us. 3.5 hours. This is definitely something you could do through an afternoon.
I'm so emotionally drained.
Yeah, this is so fun.
This is gonna be real weird for that cold cut where we're gonna like see you later.
All right, let's see how this goes. And I'm not gonna lie. I was getting into this. I was like, I don't know. And now, yeah, we're both sitting here sweating bullets,
just
like
crying,
getting emotional over this.
Just crying.
Oh my god.
That's
all right.
Sweet Yago.
So here's how things more or less began. The death of magic. The way that we decided to go with this, the fall of magic that we had here, because all we had was that magic was dying and the Magus was dying with it, and we traveled together to the realm of Umbra where magic was born. The way that the story eventually told itself out was that the Magus was, or the Magus was this
not
order.
A person.
It wasn't a singular person. It was an order of mages that were using magic to impose order upon the world, to shunt all of the fake creatures and magical creatures and everything away from our existence, like into a pocket dimension.
This world of reality was a bottle world, frozen with all the magic actually held away.
Yeah.
The magic that's dying were the seals that kept this world free of magic.
Yeah.
It was kind of a nice reversal of the prompt.
Yeah.
And instead of making it normally, you're escorting the Magus, or the Magus. You're traveling with them on the road. Ours was a chase.
Yeah.
It was like Fury Road.
Yeah.
They're an army of magi who all have the title of Magus, who are all heading out to reach Umbra and like kickstart their prison, because our character had freed themselves and had maybe your escape from prison was what started the whole process to begin with.
Yeah, like
it put a crack in the window, and then that crack just continued to spread out.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of how this came out, because I just chose like, okay, I want to be Kabu, a fox of Mistwood, and then it was like, okay, so what is a fox? Is it like a literal creature or what? And I said, well, why don't we say for this situation that a fox is like a fey creature, like a Spriggan, or like a sprite in a sense, like a fairy and fey creature. So it had like elongated ears.
Like Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream.
Like Puck, yeah, and like a long smile with like a toothy, sharp grin and like wild hair and everything. But when appeared by regular people, appeared just to be a woodsman.
Speaking of regular people,
yeah.
So I chose to be Vago, the swineherd of Barleytown, and Vago of Barleytown was out there herding his swine, because he'd been swining with the herd since his grandfather's days. His father was a swineherd, his father was a swineherd, and now he's out there looking after his farm with his dear daughter River, and he's out there looking for his herds when all of a sudden there's a fox in the hen house, figuratively and literally speaking, and I threw a net on on you right quick, and then dragged you in, and then you explained things to me, and you were quite persuasive, and so we went to Ravenhall to confront the magus, only to find that they'd already left with the army, and we had to chase them down to save the world, so that the people, the fine folk of the Fox and the Fae could be free.
Yeah, and that was so cool, and we also discovered that, like, the location of his swine farms was also, like...
We found it!
Yeah, we found it. Was hundreds of years ago the location where all of the Fae people had their last battle against
where
the Magus.
Kabu was cast away.
Yeah.
That was your exit point, and so like a thread, you were able to kind of come back through.
Follow it back in, and that's why
and then my farm
there.
was on top of it now.
Yeah.
What do you mean my farm was a famous ancient battleground? Oh, I always knew it was more special than the Barleys.
Yeah, and then from
Mildred
there...
will have such a fit.
We were constantly, like, as the army of the Magus was marching to Umbra to go regain their power, and
sometimes we're ahead and sometimes we're behind, and
reimpose their order upon the world. We realized
it took a bit
that,
of a Shadow of a Colossus bit. There were sacrifices along the way where you're absorbing powers of ancient fallen soldiers and Fae, and slowly getting more powerful. But as you were getting more powerful, Vago was getting weaker.
Yeah.
The further we got away from Barleytown, as magic in the world is dying and the strength of humanity is dying, Vago was getting wounded along the way. I got hurt by a boar in the woods, and then we ended up in this town. There was this one moment. I was getting a little like sappy with the character, where he had his daughter River, and he came by, and he had this comfort from home and a list of to dos, so that my socks were clean, and I always combed my hair, and because River's always looking after me. But when we got to the river, there was a prompt on the page of a promise you won't keep. And Vago's realizing he's never going to make it home. This is becoming quite soon a one-way trip. And so I took that little note I'd been carrying with me, which had been the source of joking for most of our game, and I folded it up and I sent it off like a boat down the river. To River! And to say goodbye to River on the riverbank, breaking my promise that I'm never going to make it home.
Yeah.
And this is getting to Kabu, who's like, holy hell, I'm bringing this dude, just this regular dude, who has no business being here. He's gonna die, but we're in too deep. We can't send you back, because we're in a race with the Magus.
Yeah.
And if you leave me in the wild, I'll just probably be eaten. And so we arrive in Astalia. And there was this moment where you head off to go and find something to make me stronger.
To heal you, because you'd been wounded by the boar.
And I went anyways. And there was this place where you can change anything on your character sheet. In this case, I want to change wounded.
A marketplace of magic.
If you pay a strange price.
Yeah.
And the strange price, I did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind on myself, where I would be given strength and strong enough to carry you to Umbra and lead the way, but it would mean giving up my memories of Barleytown, River, my wife, the swine herds, all the little things, and then it kept playing it after that, where I would keep dropping things like cleaning socks and stuff, but they were no longer connected to the stories that made my character who I was. So everything I was doing kept reminding you of what I had done. You're like, oh, I hate you!
But now he's this hollow man.
What have I... And Kabu is like full of regret, like, what? I am destroying this person.
Yeah.
Just to get to Umbra.
And then we get to this point where we're following them into the sea, and we're chasing after them, and he's got all these phrases that he uses, like, oh, I've got to clean my socks and comb my hair and everything, but he doesn't know what they're attached to anymore because he doesn't have those memories.
I will clean the socks, if you know.
It's just like, oh yeah,
don't forget the bacon and the beer.
We're gonna catch up to these Maguses. We're gonna cut their throats clean like I clean my socks, and it's just like. But he doesn't.
We're gonna comb their hair real good.
Yeah, he doesn't know why.
Gonna make that hair real. Gonna kick out those nuts.
He has those phrases, but they're not attached to anything anymore. And I thought that was really good. And then eventually we get to what we
I'm going darker and more pragmatic. I'm killing things.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let's eat them all. And further on, I even get to a point where I ask this personal question.
Yeah.
Going through.
We get to the Crystal Island where it's.
These mages are horrible. They're killing things. They're burning islands.
Oh yeah.
They're on the warpath now.
They're on the warpath, and we realized that we decided that the Crystal Island wasn't just an island in and of itself, but it's the only way to Umbra if you pass through it.
It's a line of defense.
It acts as like a Fey henge. Like this is a secret door into their realm.
We're so excited. No one's gonna understand why.
Oh yeah, no one's gonna fucking get this. But and we decided at that point that that's what Umbra was. The source of their magic that they were using to impose order on the world was from the Fey realm, and that's what Umbra was. And so like you had to pass through this gate. We end up getting there just after them, and they've become moored on some of the crystals.
We capture one of their leaders, the Dark Knight that we had.
And we get through this thing, sacrificing their leader.
Holding him up so that it absorbed his essence.
Yeah. So
in the cave of dark colors.
Yeah, the cave of dark colors, which is the path. It's harmful to humans to pass through there. So I like hold him up to like absorb all this damage. But some of it makes its way into Yago, and he forgets. So when we arrive, the rest of what he is, we get through the other side to what we call Sun Lake, which is written on here, and it just says a personal question.
And we get out, and so it's like, imagine we come out of this cave, like you said, from like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory,
the
right?
fucking
like,
madness.
Do you know which way we're going? And we come out, poof, out into the Sun Lake. Beautiful, becalmed. We're in Umbra now. We've made it. We've fought through all of this horror and this bloodshed. You've taken the sacrifice of these dead rangers. We didn't even talk about the rangers because so much has happened since then. And then Yago looks to you. We're like, our victory moment. And Yago looks to Kabu. Who am I?
Yeah.
And I've forgotten.
In that
whatever
moment,
was left.
He just lost the last of who he was. He was a completely blank slate. And Kabu was just like, you are just my dearest and oldest friend, and I will tell you the rest when we're done. And
then we head into the ruins.
And we head into the ruins. And that was the thing, is that normally when you're playing this game, it's like you're going with the mage to help try to save magic or something. But we get to this ruins of Crow Hall. The prompt is the hospitality of the Magus ? And I was like, it's a boss fight! Like, that's where we get there.
Whoever's still alive is standing in our way.
It makes sense that the Magus would set up like a bastion on the shores of the world that they use to enslave the rest of our realm.
The nightmare-given form was you taking on all the strength of the Fae and the Rangers, Yago's memories, and you just tear apart.
Yeah,
like, you become like the end of Shadow of Colossus.
Yeah,
right?
You now absorbed all that
hatred and all that energy, but, you know, to sacrifice yourself to save all of this. And we head then into the glow where magic was born. This is big spoilers if you've never played the game.
Oh, but still.
But there's that moment now.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yago's a child at the end with no memories of where he's from. And Kabu has become like a demon lord.
Yeah.
And I look down at the voices, your face in the glow, and I see images of my memories and the places I've been. And Kabu just pushed. And I'm back in Barleytown. And my memories are restored. Except everything had been changed. The Fae and people, it's a more multicultural place. The Magus is nowhere to be seen. And there's magic in the world, but the foxes and the rangers and people are around. And I just had the craziest... It was all a dream.
I've just had the strangest
And River's like, are you sleeping again out in the fields, Dad? And I'm like, oh, River, I had the most crazy thing. I thought I'd gone off and fight against to save the world, and I'd been gored by a bear, and I gave up all of my memories, and I sailed. I was on the ocean, River. Like, oh, sure, you are, Dad. You're just sleeping on the job.
Oh, it was so good.
And the glow of the sunrise of whatever Kabu turned into. I guess God? Are you the devil?
In the sense of the way that I saw him was very much how the one mage character is in the Ancient Magus' Bride, where he's this great, like a personification of the horned god from pagan myth, and then he's got this suddenly long skull and these huge horns and this great beastly form to him. And he's not necessarily good or evil. He's just this large fey creature that, using all of his power, just rewrote time to, guess what, the Magus never happened, and the world was never turned like this, and everyone's happy.
But they're still there somewhere in Yago, I'll make a noise, in Yago's dreams.
Yeah.
And in his memory, and they become part of the legend and the story, and maybe there's a day when Kabu will show up again on Swine Hill.
And there's so many...
Punch through, I need you again! You're like pulling me like Doc.
We gotta go back!
It's not... He's like, no, we gotta go to Umbra. Yago, it's about your kids!
It's about your kids, Umbra. Oh, and that's the thing. And there's so many paths that we didn't take when we were on this.
We didn't even go underground.
Yeah, and there's a whole other half of the map.
We never went to Storm Garden or whatever it was called.
Yeah, like the Storm Garden
Ice
Castle,
Road,
the Ice Rail, the Mouth of the Deep.
I wish we'd gone to the Nameless City, the Ravages of Magic.
Yeah, like it's so nuts, and it only ever gives you two things, which every place that you go to. It gives you a location. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. It gives you a location.
Like the Gilded District.
And it asks you a small question.
What you cannot afford.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So here's your location, and here's a prompt about that. And then here's these other little things within that location and small prompts that are attached to them.
And all it asks is, don't think too far ahead. Yeah. Just be in the moment. let the story kind of be like a beast you're never gonna chase. You're never gonna catch. You're just always chasing it.
Yeah.
And just chase the story to the end. And there were a couple times where we were like trying to think too far ahead and strategize. Oh, we gotta get a boat. We're gonna have to do. No, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just do the scenes one at a time. Follow the prompts. Let the characters tell you what you're doing, and then go to the next bit, and then be surprised.
Yeah.
And you know, the best time you'll have is the first time you play because you don't know what's on this map.
No idea what's up.
But even as someone who has played this game, every single time is just a gut punch.
And not just that, but
this
it's
game
just...
does not protect you from feelings.
No, and every time apparently, because after we played this, I was like, "This is a good story. You could write this down."
The story of Iago.
And you could make this into
the
like
swineherd of Barley Town.
Yeah, like that would make a decent movie, I think. But then Justin was telling me like, no, that happens every time you play this game.
Every time you play it, it becomes like this 5-arc epic.
Yeah,
this 5-act epic.
And you're just like, oh, it's so good. So anyways, so that's a fantastic game. Fall of Magic.
Fall of Magic.
Oh man,
you can get it. I mean, I think the physical copy is still out there. It's kind of expensive, the physical copy, but they do have a digital version that you can play on Roll20 and a PDF file where you can just print out the scroll. Although, if you can get in, this scroll is beautiful, and it's something like as a collection you can just have. It's a beautiful cloth scroll. The whole map's printed onto it. But they do have a Roll20 version. The Roll20 version, it scans this scroll in. It's a high-definition image, and it comes with all the tokens and all the cards that are shuffled up, and you just play through it on your computer screen, which is really neat. And then there's also just a PDF version, which
that
you
is
can
so
print out yourself.
dope. Oh my god.
I know, I'm emotionally drained, and now I'm going to go watch Infinity War.
I feel bad for you.
I'm just...
You are not ready for this
a husk of a person after this game to now go and see,
Justin, this Sunday you're going to need to take a nap. You are going to need to sleep in, dude.
You're so emotionally tired of, Iago.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Happy International Tabletop Day.
Yeah, for coming out and playing this game, finally getting me to play this game. I was so skeptical about this.
It was almost an entire year ago since I drunkenly went, look at this scroll, look how beautiful it is.
Yeah, play this game, it's so amazing.
It's so great, trust me, it's such a good story.
So anyways, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for joining us again today for what is, the 28th? So this is our third last day of V.E.D.A. We've got 2 more days left. Monday's going to be our last day where we're going to be doing a spoiler review of the Infinity Wars.
Oh, I should be able to watch that.
Yeah. As well as talking about where I've gotten with regards to my health. And yeah, until next time, my brave citizens, I'm Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terawatt. This is our Layer 3.0's relaxation station. This is Justin Eacock from Terrible Warriors. And
Iago the swineherd.
Yeah, Iago the swineherd.
Gotta go herd the swines, gotta go.
And we'll
remember the beer and the pork. Pork and beer.
We'll see you next time.
Alright, you gotta do your sign out. I keep interrupting you.
End of line.